We, to a great extent, behave, think, react because of some previous experience that we've had. One of the things that we know about life is that it is always changing. Sometimes you're up, sometimes you're down. Sometimes things go real well, and sometimes they don't. Sometimes you're happy, and sometimes you're sad. Now that's that thing called life. But you're going to have some ups and you're going to have some downs. But during those down moments, that's where the growth takes place. Anybody can feel good when they have their health, their bills are paid, they have happy relationships. Anybody can be positive then. Anybody can have a larger vision then. Anybody can have faith under those kinds of circumstances. The real challenge of growth, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, comes when you get knocked down. How you handle it, that's where the growth takes place.
Champions workout doesn't officially begin until pain arrives. You see, greatness is right on the other side of pain. So what are you running from it for? You say you want to be successful, then push through it. Stop making excuses and go get it. Very few battles are won under ideal circumstances. So you gotta simulate and practice the unknown so that the unexpected will not derail you. Every morning when you get up, ask yourself, how can I put myself in a place where I'll be uncomfortable? See, you have to master the unknown. You gotta master your fears. You gotta master the unexpected so when it happens, you are prepared. Champions can push through and keep going when everyone else around them is quitting. They have immersed themselves in pain so often that they have become immune to it. Greatness is on the other side of pain. Go get it! The more you expose yourself to pain, the more comfortable you will become in its presence. A champion's workout doesn't officially start until pain arrives. Everything else is just a warm-up. A boxer can be the best technician in the world. But if he gets in the ring and the first time he gets hit, he falls apart, he's not gonna be a champion, I tell you that. See, in life it's just like that with us. We're good until we get hit in the face. But what separates champions from the rest is when they get hit, they keep coming. When you hit them a second time, they get stronger. And by that third time that life hits you and you're still standing, the world will know there's a champion in the ring. How bad do you want to be successful? Do you want it bad enough to get hit in the face? Because I tell you right now, that's what life's gonna do to you. It's gonna hit you when you least expect it. When you got your guard down, how will you respond? Refuse to let the world break you. Show life what a champion looks like. The quickest way to overcome failure is to starve yourself of the thoughts and actions that allow it to sustain itself. Now, what sets champions apart from the rest of the world is that they are mentally wired differently. You see, they have a belief system that sees failures and setbacks as only part of the process to achieving real success. Now, there's a difference between thinking you're a champion and knowing you're one. Champions understand what gives them the advantage. It's their mindset. So they discipline and condition their mind to do the impossible. So for you to turn your dreams into a reality, you're gonna have to master the psychology of winning. So from this point forward, day in and day out, you must conquer the battlefield of the mind. Bring into captivity any thought that runs contrary to your dreams, goals, or become unstoppable, you must constantly have the inner soundtrack of victory blaring from your spirit. Now, it's one thing to say you want to be successful. It's another thing to walk it out. You cannot achieve massive success with mediocre habits. So what I'm asking you to do is let your actions proclaim your allegiance to success. Real change will only happen when you initiate it. Your mindset is the thermostat that sets the tone for every situation, every environment that you enter. Your destiny will be determined by the quality of the questions that you ask yourself. See, your life is one big sum average of the thoughts that you consistently hold in your mind. Your actions, your outcomes, your life is just one great mirror reflecting back to the world what you're thinking on the inside. Your life should just be one great big exhibition of doing the impossible. Success is the artistic interpretation of your own imagination. Destiny paints your thoughts frame by frame. Reality is your masterpiece.
Was identified as mentally retarded, put back from the 5th grade into the 4th grade, and stayed in that category until I got out of high school. I don't have any college training, but I met a high school teacher who one day changed my life. I was waiting on another student, and when he came in, he said to me, "Young man, go to the board and write what I'm about to tell you." And I said, I can't do that, sir. He said, "Why not?" I said, "I'm not one of your students." He said, "It doesn't matter. Follow my directions now." I said, "I can't do that, sir." He said, "Why not?" I said, "Because I'm educable mentally retarded." And he came from behind his desk and he looked at me. He said, "Don't ever say that again. Someone's opinion of you does not have to become your reality." And as he talked, my heart began to beat fast. Tears began to run by my eyes, and I was in the back just listening to him, because the speech he was giving, that speech was for me. And he said, "Les Brown," he said, "if you want to do anything worthwhile in life, you've got to be hungry." I told Mr. Washington I wanted to become a disc jockey. And so I started working to develop myself. He said, "I want you to practice every day being a disc jockey." I said, "But I don't have any job now." He said, "It doesn't matter." He said that it's better to be prepared for an opportunity and not have one than to have an opportunity and not be prepared. And as I was working to develop myself, I applied for a job as a disc jockey, WMB, on Miami Beach. I went to a guy named Milton Butterball. I said, "How you doing, Mr. Butterball? I'd like to get a job as a disc jockey." He looked at me, he said, "You have any broadcast background?" I said, "No, sir, I don't." "You have any journalism background?" I said, "No, sir, I don't." He said, "We don't have any jobs available." I said, "Yes, sir." I went back to Mr. Washington and I told him. He said, "Don't take it personally." He said, "Most people are so negative, they will have to say no 7 times before they say yes." He said, "Go back again." So I went back again. I said, "How you doing, Mr. Butterball? My name is Les Brown." He said, "I know what your name is. What do you want?" I said, "I'd like to know whether or not you have any jobs as a disc jockey, sir." He said, "Didn't I just tell you yesterday we didn't have any jobs?" I said, "Yes, sir, but I know whether or not somebody got laid off or somebody was fired, sir." He said, "No one was laid off or fired. Now get on out of here." I came back the next day like I was seeing him for the first time. I said, "Hello, Mr. Butterball, how are you?" He looked at me with rage. He said, "Go get me some coffee." I said, "Yes, sir." And I went to get him some coffee. After a while, I would give them lunch and dinner, and I would go in the control rooms and take the disc jockeys their food, and I would not leave until they would ask me to leave. One Saturday afternoon, while I was at the radio station, a guy named Rock was drinking while he was on the air. I was the only one there, looking at him through the control room windows, walking back and forth, young, ready, and hungry. Pretty soon the phone rang, and it was the general manager. And I answered the phone. I said, "Hello?" He said, "Les, this is Mr. Klein." I said, "I know." He said, "Rock can't finish his program." I said, "I know." He said, "Would you call one of the other DJs in?" I said, "Yes, sir." I hung the phone up. I said, "Now he must think I'm crazy." I called my mom and my girlfriend, Cassandra. I said, "Y'all turn up the radio and come out on the front porch. I'm about to come on the air." I waited for about 20 minutes, and I called him back. I said, Mr. Klein, I can't find nobody. He said, young boy, do you know how to work the controls? I said, yes, sir. He said, go in there and don't say nothing here. I said, yes, sir. I couldn't wait to get behind those controls. I put on an old Stevie Wonder record called Fingertips. I sat down behind that turntable. I said, look out, this is me, LB, Triple P. Les Brown, your platter playing Papa. There were none before me, and there will be none after me. Therefore, that makes me the one and only. Young and single and love to mingle, certified, bona fide, indubitably qualified to bring you satisfaction, a whole lot of action. Look out, baby, I'm your love man. I was hungry. I was hungry. You gotta be hungry. Begin to know that you have greatness within you. And if just one of you here begin to envision yourselves as being blessed and highly favored to reach your goals, if just one of you capture the essence of what that means, that you have greatness within you and a responsibility to manifest that greatness, that you can make your parents proud, you can make your school proud, you can touch millions of people's lives, and the world will never be the same again because you came this way. It was hard, ladies and gentlemen, coming to speak to people. And I was facing financial difficulties in my own life. I was behind on my bills and my dreams, and I'm saying to them, you can live your dream. It was hard, ladies and gentlemen. It was very difficult to pick myself up each day believing that I could do it. There were times that I doubted myself. I used to ask myself, can I do this? And something said within me, you're the one. Don't give up on your dream. By continuing to push forward, by continuing to run toward my dream, that one day I would have my own talk show. It's a long shot, ladies and gentlemen, from Liberty City, an abandoned building on a floor, never knowing my mother or father. It's a long shot. Being here with you today in this dome in Atlanta, it's a long shot. No college training, labeled educable, mentally retarded, but I kept running toward my dream. Don't stop. Don't stop running toward your dream.
I own a business, so I do a nightclub in Brisbane. I do that. And I also got a personal brand as well. I'm a hype MC for nightclubs. But what I'm stuck in, about 4 months ago, I started another business, printing shirts. And I'm sort of in between, should I cross-brand or use the Shades logo as the printing thing and the nightclub thing? What do you suggest?
It doesn't matter.
Thanks, Scotty.
I mean, I'm being frank with you. Like, people overthink shit that doesn't matter. It's not gonna matter if you use one logo or separate logos. Like, it doesn't matter where I use Vayner and where I don't, Wine Library or Gary Vee or Vayner. It doesn't matter. Like, I love when people want to talk to me about the name of their business. Nobody cares. Nobody knew what Google meant or Facebook meant or McDonald's meant or Coke meant. A name doesn't matter. What you do to make a name matter is what matters, right? So nobody gives a shit, bro. Just pick one and fucking go.
So it's just all about branding, basically?
Yeah, it's about the execution, right? Like, it didn't matter if he called himself, you're wearing a shirt of a guy who called himself multiple things. He was the Notorious B.I.G. and Biggie Smalls and plenty of, like it doesn't matter. Execution. People want to debate these things because they think that's the unlock. It's not. Period.
Yeah. This is actually one of the shirts that I printed, by the way. Just putting it out there.
I figured. All right, let's move. Let's go. Red shirts, let's go. Give me some, hey.
Gary, Steve.
Let's get some people in the back.
At the end of your audiobook, Ask Gary Vee, you said something that hit me in the face in a good way, that you never met your granddad or something, and that played a part in the way that you document.
Yes.
Curious to know, how much does that still play a part in your day-to-day decisions, and why does so few people really get that? I never got to meet my granddads either, and I was like, shit, it really affects me. So that's my question.
I think so few people think, I don't think people understand. I think people think I just talk. Like, in 50 years, they'll understand that I meant it. Like, I care about my legacy. That's why I think about it. Like, I only care about my legacy. When I made $100,000 a year, I achieved my only financial goal that I ever had. somewhere around 13, I was like, it'd be really cool to make 100,000. You know, like when you're coming from humble, that seemed big, you know? So that was it. Why? Because I always felt something in the middle of my stomach that I had something. I care about my legacy. I love that my great grandchildren are literally watching this right now. I'm long gone, but they're watching this. Hey, Jeremiah. You know, and so, I mean, that's cool. I think it's super neat. Like, I think I have a lot to give. I think I've impacted. How many people here think, and don't make me feel good, how many people here truly think that I've impacted them in a positive way? I mean, look at that. And so like, but I'm not gonna be able to do that for my grandkids. But now I am, because if I can do it to you, I can definitely do it to them, because they're gonna watch everything. Imagine there was film like this. Imagine, how many people watch Daily V? Thank you. Could you imagine if Daily V was about your great-great-grandmother? You know how fun that would be? You'd be like, oh shit, I do that same thing that she, like, you know, it's so cool watching my daughter do things that I do, like thinking how those get passed on. It's gonna be neat. Plus, my man, do you know why I obsess over my legacy? Do you know why I document everything? Because I know I'm good. And when you know you're good, both in your skill and in your heart, you're not scared of the camera. And so it matters to me because I care about my legacy, not about the short-term money. Everybody's so worried about tomorrow that it doesn't allow them to see what's actually happening here. And that's why I always recommend people spending time with older people, retirement home. I'm a big fan because you get to see regret and resentment up close, and it starts to help you frame up a life. And I did something very weird. I don't talk about this a lot publicly, and you guys know a lot about me. I spent so much time with old people when I was little, like from 5 to 13, if I went to a playground and there was like a grandfather visiting or a grandmother, it wasn't just a grandfather thing, I would literally stop playing and go sit with them and sit on the bench and just ask them random questions. I was a weird ass kid, you know? But it makes a lot of sense to me now because I'm way more wisdom oriented than like my energy acts. I mean, my energy is so micro fast and intense and alpha and male and competitive, you know? But when you start peeling away, it's very obvious why it matters to me. I'm only about my legacy. I'm only about what everybody here says behind my back. Thanks. You got it. Let's do it. Who do we have? Hey.
Hey Gary.
How are you?
Jordan. Good, thanks. So I'm a little bit torn. I've been in your content for about 18 months.
Thank you.
And I've really struggled to launch my business.
Okay.
Self-awareness was a big part of that. I started a life coaching thing a while ago and never really felt connected to it. My history is one of drug addiction and car accidents and time in prison.
Yes.
And so I go around to youth centres and high schools and I talk for free.
Yes.
And that's actually what I love to do.
I've
never found a way to brand myself and make money because I feel like part of me's got a shame thing around it.
I understand.
The family and the people involved that were hurt in my accident. So I don't even know why I got up to talk, but listening to your Facebook strategy, I think I want to make some videos, but I want to be really sensitive around.
Well, so let me ask you, let's actually have this conversation for a second, and I appreciate you standing up. Are you still in a place where you want to protect the ashamed part? I feel very comfortable that you just brought it up. So you are in a place where listen, it's your truth. You're on to the next chapter. Is there still reasons to hold it to the vest because it can affect others, or are you still in the last stages of being okay with putting it out there?
I'm not sure. So I crashed a car in 2009. One of my passengers died. Part of our crew. I was heavily drunk and on drugs. And I've never really been able to connect with the family involved. Obviously, they have their reasons. So I don't know whether I'm going to stir something up for them by writing a book. And people tell me.
So first of all, I adore you for that answer. Right?
Thanks.
And the best part is, it allows me to give you a really good piece of advice. People are confused. Intent is an incredibly important part of all this. The reason I'm so out there and so the way I am is because I know what my intent is. You may not like it at first. You may think I'm cocky and a douchebag. I'm cool with that because I'm going to win in the end. Yeah. Like I prefer you all started out not liking me because it's more fun the other way, right? So, brother, the fact that you have that intent, I'm going to really try to force you to do this. You should reach out to them, call, email, go ahead.
I wrote a letter.
What's that?
I wrote a letter.
Great.
Years ago, telling them how I felt it wasn't well received.
Respect. So. Do you think they're on Facebook? You're not sure?
I blocked them because when I got out of prison, I got sent some unkind messages.
Yep.
So it wasn't nice, so I unblocked them. I blocked them to just move on with my life.
I respect that. How long ago was that?
When did I get out? 2014.
So look, listen, if you want to, listen, there's only one way to move forward. It's reconcile the past, right? So you need to do everything you can. And listen, you could still talk about your past without mentioning names. You know, for a long time, if anybody's watching carefully, up until about 6 months ago, I never really made it as clear that I own nothing of Wine Library. If, you know, only until about 6 months ago, as my popularity has exploded in the last year, a lot of people are saying, well, you can't listen to him because his dad gave him a $4 million business. And I needed to eliminate that excuse for the kids that wanted to listen. So I started talking about something I wasn't comfortable with, which was, you know, talking about me building such a big business and owning none of it, I was worried could shed negative light on my dad, to be very frank. And I wasn't comfortable talking about it. So I've gone 10 years being in public without ever really clarifying it. I've only started clarifying it now because I don't think it sheds bad light on my dad. Family businesses, everybody knows it. And more importantly, I have to eliminate that excuse from the lexicon so that people realize, you know, what my journey actually is so they can work hard, because God, people are really looking for the excuse to not work hard. And so anyway, brother, you can tell your narrative and put it out there without referencing the family. Sure, they could Google it and figure it out, but as long as your intent is right, you need to start recording those talks that you're doing for free, putting them on Facebook. I have good news. It's going to work out.
Yeah, true. Okay, thanks so much.
You got it. Let's go back there if we can.
Sorry. Hey, Gary.
How are you?
Very good. Again. Now, just as like a practical question, you've been talking about Instagram and Facebook and everything.
Let's be practical.
I think for everybody, put some numbers on it. So say a business owner here, they had $50,000 a year to spend on ads. What percentage would you recommend?
If we're going to go
real general,
look, that's the problem. What kind of business, right? If it's B2B, with only $50,000, I'd go LinkedIn and Facebook, right? If it's selling T-shirts, to people under 40, I would be 80% Facebook and Instagram with a little bit of Google AdWords of people that are typing in an intent.
For the people that have never used, Facebook, Instagram, and digital media before, what would you say is a really good place for them to start as far as percentage-wise? So you go, all right, $2,000 per month into that. $2,000 into that, $1,000 into that.
You're not going to achieve what you're trying to do here, and I love it.
Yeah.
You're doing the right thing. The problem is it's super nuanced.
Yeah.
But the reality is that, like I said earlier, they've got to spend money on it. How many people here already, besides Facebook and Instagram, spend over $10,000 a month in marketing? Raise your hands. Raise them high. So not a lot, right? How many people here spend $3,000 a month in marketing? Raise your hands, right? How many people here don't spend any money on marketing? Raise your hands. Right? So you've got a lot of differences.
Yeah.
What's amazing about all this is no matter where those hands went up, more than 50% of their energy should be on Facebook and Instagram. That's enough to start.
All right, yeah.
Energy,
yeah.
Which means either organic engagement and creative because you have no fucking money, or that percentage of your money, go Google and learn, test and learn, test and learn.
Yeah. All right.
Cheers. Let's get can we get red shirts? Sir, yeah, can you go all the way back there? Good. Hello. How are you?
Hello. My name's Robin. I'm an exercise physiologist and I run a private practice.
Awesome.
So working in the health industry, it's a little bit harder to kind of push people to come and see you because ultimately at the end of the day, I want people to come see me if they need my help.
Okay.
Do you have any advice for standing out on those social media platforms?
Well, look, it doesn't. You have to understand this. Your dynamic doesn't change if you advertise on Facebook and Instagram, or if you advertise in the print, or if they're all the same dynamics, right? So, are you getting most of your customers from referrals and other dynamics, or how are you getting them now?
Mostly allied health and GP referrals.
Right. So now you're looking for more upside because you've got a B2B dynamic that's driving to your business, right? I would just put out tremendous content that is the best advice you have for the general public. Look what I do. I give away all my stuff for my best advice. Do you know how many advertising and social media agencies have been built on the back of my free content that are doing $1 to $3 million a year? right? Like just left and right, and it makes me happy. It makes me happy that something I'm doing for free is helping others because I don't think it's coming out of my pocket. That's where everybody gets confused. People get confused because you think when you're doing something good, it comes at your expense. It doesn't. There's so much out there. I'm never gonna get to all of it. I'd much rather have your admiration or love towards me because I helped you. So you should just be putting out your best advice, especially because you're getting your business from B2B to begin with, and then that will create halo effects for the entire brand. Because right now you're in transactional sales funnel on the back end. You need to create brand. My advice to you, there's a good way to stand out. Give away the best advice you have forever, for free, for as long as you possibly can.